Hola. There is, you'll see on the tank this sort of retro abstract Harley logo. Edgy, man, edgy. But I tell you this, little known fact, that, boys and girls, that's not a logo. It's not. It's a map. CEO of Harley. It's where they keep his mind that he lost. Billy J, Story Moto, ADV. We're just going to go for a quick hide. Anyway, I want to talk about something, kind of hop on a bandwagon here. Actually, a pretty easy subject. I'm going to approach from a slightly different angle. Harley Davidson. What do we think? I know what everybody thinks about that bike. I know. And it's a no-brainer, right? So, you know, you hope to think that they thought of that, right? That they're not just so blatantly arrogant that they would somehow imagine that we Earthlings weren't going to just brutally slay them for coming up with what they've come up with. Again, we know nothing about it. We only know what's been announced-ish. You know, we don't know if that picture, how accurate it is, if it's a, you know, if that's a prototype or is that a graphic interfaced by the rendering. We just don't know what it is. But we can talk a little bit about what it looks like. It looks like the situation looks like this. It looks like Harley Davidson is coming out with a adventure touring bike. Here's my speculations. Now here's the thing. I'm not a big techie guy. Most of my my videos are about performance, some technical stuff, but mostly performance. I love to just ride the hell out of a bike, and they're about my family and kind of some of the things that we're wanting to encourage people with by what we've gone through and come out the other side of. So it's mostly about that, but I can get a little techie, and I'm going to do that for you here just to show you what my prowess is not only a rider, not only a psychologist and all our healings and dealings and all that, but also just a bona fide engineer. And here it goes. You ready? The Pan America, I believe that's what it's called, 1250cc, I think, Harley Davidson adventure touring bike. Now here's my guess based on my extensive knowledge motorcycles. I think she's going to come in at around, just looking at the picture, I say, you know, realistically, if I had to guess, you know, I looked at it, I thought a lot about the different metals they might use for this, that, the other, based on Harley's, you know, previous engineering and just, you know, even down with the crash equipment, you know, the bash plate and stuff on there. I was looking at that, trying to factor what they would use. I was thinking about wet weights, dry weights, and all this. And I've come up with a pretty reasonable number. I think that Pan America is going to come in at about 3,700, about 3,750, 3,750 pounds, somewhere around there. That'll put it in the running, you know, with the Tenere in terms of weight. You know, the Tenere was heavy, beautiful bike, great performing bike. Not dogging the Tenere, love that bike, but it was heavy, you know. So that at 3,700, 3,750, that Tenere, the original, I'm not sure if they've gotten lighter or not. Like I said, I'm not the tech guy, but the Tenere kind of loses its title for the heaviest bike. It's kind of sad, you know, but Harley, they swooped in, man. They took that crown. So that, I would say, fuel efficiency. anywhere from, you know, if you jerry can, you probably get from one station to the next, you know. But if not, and you got to do a little foot time, man. It's not called easy touring. It's adventure touring. So, you know, you just got to factor in those things and allot for your time. If you're a weekend warrior and your vacations are short, just, you know, come up with some sort of bodysuit that, you know, has a thin layer of fuel all the way around it. And that way you could just hook up some sort of tube, you know. You have to figure in all the vacuum systems and all that. Like I said, I'm not a techie guy, but I do know that there's some pressure issues there. And so you'd have to come up with, maybe if you were to flex or something, you know, like flex your belly out, you could have an extra vestibule of fuel there that squirts it into the tank to get you to the next gas station. Or, you know, be sensible and travel in areas where the gas stations are closer together. So 3750 fuel range, at least almost station to station. You know, that's you know, they're nailing it. And furthermore, let's see what else we got. Oh yeah, the that bash plate, man, that thing looks good. Looks like it'll handle some beef. It'll handle some hits. But there is, I did read in some one of the syndications that I read that it will actually be removable, which is kind of cool because you'll be able to. Let's say you live in an area where you're unable to have a swimming pool. You can remove that or just kind of drop it where it sits if you're unable to carry it, and just fill it there, and you know, maybe use the pegs to do some free diving off of or something. Yeah, so that is definitely an advantage, because an adventure touring is not only the riding, it's what do I do at camp? Right, I'm there, I pull over, I find a titanium plate to put under the kickstand so it doesn't dig in. Something I think that one off-road, that kickstand will probably, you know, I'd say half an inch to 3/4 inch titanium plate. Anywhere from 14 to 15 and a quarter square inches would keep that kickstand from dipping down in. So let's say you get to camp, you drop your stand, boom, hit your thumb bolts, drop that plate, fill it with some water. You know, if you're very intrepid, you could use your water filtering, like a Ketadine or something like that, and man, you're kind of golden from there. You just go swimming and hang out by the bike and whatnot. Or, you know, let's say you're traveling. Let's say you're one of these people who live in the Midwest or hell, Tornado Alley. You could literally maybe drop that pan, flip it over when it's falling. Lord knows you couldn't flip it once it's on the ground. It's just too ginormous. But if you could find a way to maybe release one side and let half the pan fall down, then kind of drop your titanium ground plating down and put your kickstand down, then that would enable you to then, as the bike lean, to use that inertia to flip the dash plate over. Therefore, you know, the bottom side, the side would be facing the ground, would then be facing up, and you and your family could get under it in a storm. And definitely you'd also have the weight of the bike itself to, you know, maybe even stop the storm. You know, there's certain land earth masses, things that are so large and dense and heavy that they'll literally stop a storm, bust up its atmosphere. And so, you know, maybe you could be a hero with that bike, you know. So I'm just, you know, the tank's half full with me, you know. So let's see, what else? We got weight, we got parts, we got accessories. Oh yeah, the mystery. There is a mystery behind the damn bike. Now this is what we're trying to figure out. I'm torn on this one, because I love classic cars. I love them. I've never had one. I never bit the bullet and just gotten one. It's kind of stupid because it's been a passion of mine. I've just ridden other people's, you know, like a goofball. But I'm wondering how Harley cut the deal to get all these Chevelles cut in half and shrunk down to use as the headlight assembly for these new Harleys, this Pan America. It's like, you know, those are some valuable things. A, they're valuable. B, they're rare, you know. And C, I mean, shrinking technology of inanimate objects, let alone, you know, trying to figure that one out. That one's got me, definitely, because I just didn't think that you could use the trunk portion of a classic vehicle and shrink it down and shove it in the front of a motorcycle and use it as a headlight assembly. Just, I wouldn't have figured that. You know, you think all sorts of uses for trunks, and you just never really think, well, wow, that could hold a bulb for a light bar, and we could shove it in the front of a motorcycle. And, you know, people are just, it's the innovation. But the thing about innovations is this, is, you know, don't be intimidated, because they, you know, we all stand on the shoulders of giants, as I've heard it put, where, you know, some guy didn't just come up with the carburetor, you know, it was a process, and so one guy thought of this, another guy thought of that, and over time it just became this really awesome, intricate mechanical thing that just works. And then the same way with that headlight assembly, I mean, that is not something one man came up with. That was, you know, hell, it goes all the way back to the original engineering of the Chevelle. So you just count exponentially the number of minds that came together ultimately, whether they were in the same room or not, but the same purpose for sure, to one day arrive at, you know, chopping one of those suckers in half and shoving it in the front of a motorcycle after you found a way to shrink it. So yeah, there's that, and it looks like it's got some double Brembos up front. That's awesome, you know. Obviously that thing's not going to stop. I mean, I don't know if something of that mass and density at speed is, you know, realistically stoppable. But if they're going to try, the Brembo is definitely my vote as well. So safely, in conclusion, 3,700 pounds, a wheelbase just wide enough to keep it from causing the earth to bow, which is perfect. It'll be 6 speeds. There's first gear, and then a various range of positions of the gear shifter to rest your head on as ready for the tow truck. It will have the, as you notice, it does have at least 11 windshields in that apparatus there on the front. It can also be used for putting a new door on the Death Star, that actual windshield. Little known fact there. It doubles as a main entry for the Death Star, for the Star Wars Death Star. It's kind of a trip. Not too many people know that. The seat height will be somewhere in the neighborhood of 14 feet. Apparently the tires, I'm in like 90th gear. The tires are off of a dune buggy. You can use dune buggy tires, which is good. It's a crossover feature. Some of the diversity of adventure touring. The seat appears to be made from Andy Warhol's couch, which is always good. What else we got there? Got that low fender. We like that. The you'll look close, there's a couple handles on that for the family to kind of ride on. It's supported well. What else? It does come with a grill, inboard grill. That's that Chevelle. You'll notice on the front that Chevelle parked in there is actually is a Chevelle. You can just back it out, and on the grill of the Chevelle itself is a kind of a little handy little fold down barbecue spit for you can roast a whole pig on it, which is good. What else we got on that bike? The Chevelle. Yep, you can actually. It's kind of cool if you're a traveling guy. You can pull that Chevelle out, set your grill up, and then pull the bash plate off, as I had mentioned earlier, instead of using it as a storm shelter or tactical nuke shield. It also serves as a garage for the Chevelle. Those things are, I mean, classics, man. Once you get it painted, you know, as you see, this one comes primed, but when you get it painted, you don't want to, you don't want the clear coat to kind of get bad. So that would help with that. I think that's all the features that we're aware of at this time. The logo, you'll see there on the tank, this kind of edgy mod simplified Harley logo by first appearance is amazingly, man, it's not that. It is a map. It's a map of underground tunnels that go from Harley, the main Harley mothership, down to the core of the earth. Harley is hiding their